Happy Mother's Day to everyone around the world. This is a very auspicious day that we are having this webinar. This webinar is titled The Eye Correction, I, capital I in quotes. And what I'll do is I'll give you a few minutes on why the title, then that will be followed by why we need this. I mean, life is going on. Why suddenly this eye correction business? And the next topic will be how we do it. What's the process? And finally, what's the benefit? So that will be the structure of this talk. And so, when we have a problem with our eyes, blurred vision, we go to see an optometrist, and this optometrist, eye doctor, he or she takes us into this dark room, puts us on a high stool, and right next to our eyes puts all these lenses, and asks us to read this chart on the wall with all these letters from big to small. And based on what we can read clearly, he prescribes the lens. So one eye doctor had this signboard on the door. It says, if you can't read this, you have come to the right place. So those who could not read it, of course, entered there. Somebody who read it well, he says, this is the wrong office I came to. Another fellow who used to go to these eye doctors, and he was a little scared. So he took a picture of this chart on the wall, and he crammed it. He memorized the whole thing. And he was very excited. So when he went to the eye doctor said, can you read the top line? He said, oh yeah, it's BPXCS. He said, very good. What about the next line? He read it out. What about the third line? He read it out. And until the end of the chart, very small letters, he read the whole thing. And he was giggling and excited. He says, doctor, how is my eyes? So the doctor said, you know what? Actually, the chart you read is not even in this room. It's in the next room. Your eyesight could pierce through the wall. Wow. So anyway, that's the eye doctor's office. And so now you replace the EYE with capital I. And what corrective measures do we need? And in other words, who is this I that is used by me every day from morning till night? In every transaction, the center of my universe is this I. And what is my true identity? What I think I am, is that the real true I? So looks like there is a correction needed. So now the question is, why? Why do I need to know? Now the question is very relevant, because no matter where you go in this world, any country, any part of the planet, any people you talk to, and I have been to a lot of countries, almost 60 countries, and when you talk to people, you say, what is it you are looking for in life? And you get only one answer, and that answer is happiness. Nobody tells you that I'm tired of happiness. Can you please give me some misery and some pain? Please give it to me. Nobody says that. Everybody says, I'm looking for happiness. So now let's see, how do we get it? So the first question is, suppose I'm in perfect health. I have no issues. I should be happy, right? Well, that doesn't work. See, if somebody in the family is not well, that affects my happiness, because we are connected. We are connected at the family level, at the society level, at the humanity level. So even some disaster happens in a distant country, even though we are far away, the news bothers us because we are connected. So my having good health is not the answer to happiness. So let's take a red pen and cross this out. Go to point number 2. I have lots of wealth, lots of gadgetry. I should be happy, right? And we all know that doesn't work. Object-based happiness is very temporary. And you can be happy for a few minutes. A new car, a new house, a new whatever, iPhone, and you are happy for a few minutes, few hours, few days. but that is fleeting, that goes away. So, you go around this whole thing and you come out and says, you know, let me believe me, my friends, I have worked with some of the richest people in this planet, and I have listened to them directly, how frustrated and unhappy they are. So wealth definitely is not a guarantee, right? So even if I have good health, good all the wealth, name, fame, good family, why do I feel restless? Why there is a sense of incompleteness? And sometimes, I should be happy 24 by 7, but it's not so. And that, one of the things that affects all of us is this desire. I mean, desire is a very interesting thing because it has a lot of cousin brothers or sisters. So we have this sort of ripus, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, mascharya. So when desire is obstructed, it is krodha, first cousin, anger. When desire is fulfilled, it's the second cousin, which is lobha. I need more. That's not enough. And when I'm obsessed with desire, that's moha. When I have got arrogance and pride, that's mada. And when somebody else has it, I don't have it, I have jealousy, that's mascharya. So you have this sort of, you put 6 cousins of desire. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says in the Sthita Prajna Lakshana, Prajahati yada kaman sarvan partha manogatan atmanyevatmana tushtaha sthita prajna stadochyate. Sarvan kaman prajahati, giving up all the desires, try to find peace within yourself. Atmanya atmana tushtaha. Those are the people who are called sthita prajna, jivan mukta, happy people. In the 18 verses at the end of chapter 2, Bhagavan Krishna tells Arjuna the lakshanas, the signs of a sthita prajna, a person of steady wisdom. And this is the first verse. So it's very interesting that it seems like sorrow is our companion with flashes of happiness occasionally. That's the reverse of what we need. So Swami Chinmayananji gave a very interesting formula. He said happiness equals desires fulfilled divided by desires entertained. So if I have 100 desires and I have 5 of them fulfilled, I'm 5% happy. If I have got 50 fulfilled, I'm 50% happy. The only problem is that denominator is not a constant. What is 100 today in the denominator becomes 120 tomorrow, 150 day after tomorrow. So the denominator is always changing. That means we'll never get to that 100%. So the formula that Swamiji said, Gurudev Chinmayananji said, why don't you convert the denominator to 0? If we convert the denominator to 0, then the happiness becomes infinity. Anything divided by 0 is infinity. How do you get to that state of no desires? That's one of the difficult things in life. So in Chandogya Upanishad, if you go to chapter 7, Narada goes to his brother Guru, Sanat Kumar. And Narada in 7th chapter, which is Bhuma Vidya, the 6th chapter is the Sat Vidya, and the Bhuma Vidya is he's going to his brother and saying, teach me Brahma Jnanam. And the brother says, well, first tell me what you know. And Narada gives a long list of subjects he's an expert on. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, Ganita Vidya, Jyotisha Vidya, he gives a long list. And finally, Sanat Kumar says, looks like you really don't know anything. Brahma Vidya has nothing to do with this education, this vocational stuff. And then Narada says, I've heard Tarati Shokang Atmabit. Those who knows the self, they cross the ocean of sorrow. Please teach me that. And so the purpose of this Vedanta knowledge has been Atyantika Dukkha Nibruti Paramananda Prapti. Elimination of all sorrow and getting eternal happiness. So that's the purpose. That is the reason why I need to know. So the seeker begins the inquiry. We all do. What is the knowledge that will give me that permanent happiness? 24/7. Actually, I enjoy that. I have an experience of that. Every night when I sleep, You have Jagrata, Swapna, and Susupti, three avasthas. Today, right now, we are in the Jagrata avastha. In Swapna avastha, body is gone, but the mind is wandering and creating a dream state. And the Susupti is the dreamless sleep. So when I'm in Susupti, that is the most blissful moment in life. I don't know anything, it's all blankness, and I'm very happy. So even people with terminal illness look forward to a few hours of deep sleep where they can completely forget all the pain. That ananda, that bliss that I get during this deep sleep stage, I like to enjoy that during the waking stage, because the happiness in the deep sleep is not a very productive thing, right? So all these questions came into the mind of the individual, and in Mundaka Upanishad, the sloka goes, Parikhya lokan karmachitan brahmana nirvedamayat nastya kruta krutena tad vijnanartham sa gurumevadhigachet samit panihi srotriyam brahmanishtam. After Parikhya lokan, after examining this world, after getting the material goods, getting all the earthly pleasures, the seeker finally realizes that the eternal happiness eludes him. So in this sloka, it talks about karma in the old karma kandis, but let's convert that to today's world. After having a good job, a good family, good life, a point comes where I still feel restless. I feel something is not right, something is not complete. I'm seeking for something deeper. So the seeker now approaches a teacher, and the teacher is Srotriyam and Brahmanistha. He has to be expert in the scriptures. Also, he has to live it. He has to practice it. Just knowing the scriptures is not enough. So as Ramakrishna Paramahansa, a Ramana Maharshi, people of that caliber, quality, we have know they are Srotriyas and Brahmanishtas. And so with humility, the seeker approaches a teacher and asks, please help me. So what is this? What is that in me that enjoys bliss during deep sleep? I want to know that, and thus the eye correction begins. So far we have talked about the reason for knowing, making this eye correction. Now let's get into how do I do it, and what's the process? So it's obvious that there are two eyes. There is a small eye and there is a capital I. There is a false eye and there is a true eye. So for example, a teacher asks the student, who are you? And this student says, I am so and so, the name. And the teacher says, I didn't ask you your name. Then he says, I'm from this city. And the teacher says, I didn't ask about your city. He says, I have got PhD from Cornell. So I didn't ask about your education. Oh, I am the son of so and so. I didn't ask about your father. Oh, I am, a Brahmin of the highest class. He said, I didn't ask about your caste. Every answer he gave, the teacher says, I didn't ask you that. Who are you? So the student hits a dead end. He has no answer. Who am I? Similarly, if you remember in Hastamalaka Stotram, Shankaracharya asks Hastamalaka, Kastvam siso kasya kuto siganta kingnamate tvam kuta agatosi etan mayoktam vadacharvakatvam matpritaye priti vivardhanosi. O child, tell me who you are. Where have you come from? Where are you going? And make me very happy. Mat pritaye priti vivardhanosi. And the student, Hastamalaka, a young boy at the time, did not start saying, I'm so and so, my name, my village, my parent, my kula gotra. His answer was stunning. Naham manushyo, na cha deva yaksho, na brahmana kshatriya vaishya sudraha, na brahmachari, na bruhi, na vanastah, bhikshur na chaham nijabodha rupaha. Very interesting answer he gave. Nijabodha rupaha. I am reveling in myself. I am that light. I am not a human. Manusya Deva, Gandharva, Yaksha. I am none of these Varna and Asrama. I am not Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Sudra. I don't belong to the caste system. I don't belong to the brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, the four ashramas. I'm none of this. I'm above all this. I am reveling in myself. And for the remaining 12 slokas, the very last line is Sanityopalabdhi Swarupoham Atma. Sa Nitya Upalabdhi Aham Atma Swarupam Upalabdhi. Discover yourself every day. And that was the answer given. So we identify so deeply with our body, mind, intellect, equipment that we feel that that is my identity. How can there be anything beyond that? That's very natural. In the early part of the scriptural teaching and seeking, that baffles your mind. You know, I am this body, I am this mind, I am this intellect. What do you mean by saying I am something beyond that? So there is the concept, Vedanta talks about a witness I. Let's call it the capital I. And which is always watching, even when I'm in deep sleep. So for example, you know, you go to bed and you woke up in the morning and you say, you know, I went to bed at 10 o'clock and when I woke up, it was 6 o'clock. I had no idea. You didn't see any dream. You didn't know your body existed. You didn't know your mind existed. Then who was watching? Who was there that prompted you to say, I had a good sleep? That's what we call the witness I. It's the capital I. In Panchadasi, a very interesting text by Vidyarana Swamiji. Panchadasi means 15. There are 15 chapters. In the 5th chapter is called the Mahavakya Viveka. So the 4 Mahavakyas from the 4 Vedas are explained, 2 slokas for each, so 8 stanzas. So when he's explaining Aham Brahmasmi, you know the 4 Mahavakyas, as you all know, Pragyanam Brahma, Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasi, Ayamatma Brahma, in all 4 from 4 different Vedas, these Mahavakyas are taken. When he's explaining Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahma Asmi, in the Aham word he says, Paripurna Paratmasman Dehe Vidyadhikarini Buddhe Sakhitaya Sthitva Spuran Aham Itiriyate. Last word, Aham Itiriyate. That I, that Aham is Spuran. You know, it is the Sakshi, the infinite supreme self manifests in this world as the witness of the intellect, Vidyadhikarini, Buddhe Sakhitaya Sthitva. It is a witness of our intellect in the body, and it is fit for the knowledge, and that is known as I, Aham. So that is again that witness I, and the consciousness illumining my thoughts is called the witness I. I mean, it is in every scripture you see, you know, in Kenopanishad, Srotrasya Sutrang, Manoso Manoyat, eye of the eye, ear of the ear, mind of the mind, speech of the speech. Time and again, this is spoken, that capital I, which is the witness of the intellect. And so the false I, let's call it the small I, which identifies with our body, mind, intellect, equipment as individual ego, jiva. And the small I suffers because it assumes it is the karta and the bhokta. It goes through the highs and the lows, the sorrow and happiness. Whereas the big I is akarta, abhokta. It is the non-doer, non-enjoyer. So you have all heard about the text called Druk Drushya Viveka. This is the discrimination between the seer and the seen. S-E-E-R and S-E-E-N. The drashta and the drushya, the difference. And the very first stanza is mind-boggling. It says, Rupam Drusyam Lochanam Druk Tad Drusyam Draktu Manasam Drisyadhi Vrittaya Shakshi Drugeva Natu Drusyate. It says, Rupam Drusyam, the object is seen, and the seer is the eye, Lochanam Druk. So, object is seen, this table, this glass, this book, and the seer is the eye. Then he says, Tad Drusyam, eye is the seen, and the seer is the mind. Now we are going backwards. The object is seen, the seer is the eye. Eye is the seen, the seer is the mind. And what is the mind? Mind is nothing but a flow of thoughts. Drusyadhi vrittaya. Pruti means thoughts. So a flow of thoughts is nothing but the mind. Now that is being seen now. So who is the seer? The seer is called Sakshi, the witness. And then says, Drugeva natu drushyate. That Sakshi is not an object to be seen. That Sakshi is the ultimate seer. Rupam drishyam lochanam druk. Tad drishyam draktu manasam. Drusyadhi vrittaya Sakshi drugeva natu drushyate. This is the first two lines. So the notion of a Sakshi, what is a witness? Witness is impartial, not involved in the event. It was there before the event, during the event, after the event. That is the definition of a Sakshi. That Sakshi, that is the watching us, that light, that illumination, the intellect of the intellect, is there in all three stages, during waking hours, during sleep, dreams, and during deep sleep. So in my last webinar, I also given this example. Let's think of a bucket of water sitting outside. So there are four things: the bucket, the water, the reflection of the sun, and the sun. So four things. Now the bucket is our sthula sarira, gross body. The water is the sukshma sarira, the subtle body, the mind, intellect, the antahkarana, things we cannot see. So the bucket is the gross body, the water is the subtle body, the reflection of the sun, the pratibimba, is the individual jivatma, our soul, individual atma. And the sun above is the witness eye, the Brahman. Vedanta gives a name called Brahman, which is the totality of all consciousness. So four things, right? And what happens when the water is disturbed, we see the reflection broken in subtle, many little suns. And if the water is dirty, the reflection of the sun looks dim. And the truth of the matter is the sun is always shining bright. It is in the reflection. And the symbolism of that is when our thoughts are disturbed, then we don't see the Atma, the true reflection. Our scriptures always say that Jivatma and Paramatma are equal. You are a true reflection of that Paramatma. So the sun above is the Brahman, or the all-pervading witness consciousness. The reflected consciousness appears disturbed by my BMI equipment, just like the wind can disturb the water surface, making the reflection unsteady. The doer jiva takes the brunt of enjoying or suffering the results of actions, whilst the witness remains unaffected. Now, this is very beautifully presented as a metaphor of the two birds in Mundaka Upanishad. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya samanang grukhya parisaswajate tayoranna pippalam swaduvatti anasnan anya avichakaseti. This is a very well-known metaphor, and it talks about it. Dva suparna sayuja sakhaya. Two beautiful birds of good foliage are sitting on a tree, self-same tree, samanang grukhyam, which is this body. And the interesting part of the metaphor is these two birds, the bird on the lower side is the one which is restless. He's jumping from branch to branch, looking here and there, austere. And, he's testing the fruit, and, he's just, throwing some fruit away if it is sour. That symbolizes the small I, the jiva, who is constantly in a restless situation, is happy today, sorrow tomorrow, is not in a steady state of permanent happiness. When this bird looks at the other bird above, that other bird is peaceful and calm, is not eating anything, anasnan, anya, avichakaseti. And the jiva bird is restlessly seeking, enjoying, suffering the taste of fruits, and the witness bird just watches the whole show. Both perched on the same body tree. So this is the small I and the capital I. The small I is, most of us stay within the small I. I mean, we are, by the way, just reminding, in case you have forgotten, we are in the process of the eye correction. That's the title. We are trying to see if we can move from the little I, which is what I thought I was, to the capital I. The witness illumines all simultaneously, effortlessly, spontaneously. I mean, in the morning when the sun comes out, there's no sequential process. It instantly illumines the entire universe. And its illumining is not an action, but its very nature. The sun illumines others simultaneously and effortlessly in the same way. The capital I, which is the Brahman, which is my true identity, enlivens us. So that bliss I enjoy during deep sleep is achievable even in the waking state. All I need is to shift my vision from the small I to the capital I. I remember Swami Chidananji many years ago, 20 years ago, when he was talking about this, I distinctly remember the way he said, in math, small I is square root of -1. Remember, we say I square equals -1. So I represents is a representation of square root of -1, which is also called an imaginary number. Similarly, this little I that I identify myself is an imaginary entity. It's not the real entity. The real entity is the capital I. And the capital I does not go through the modifications that the small I goes through. So in Viveka Chudamani, Bhagavan Shankara describes Janma Bruddhi Parinatya Pakshaya Vyadhinasana Bihinamobhyayam Vishwasrushtya Karanam Brahma Tattvamasi Bhavayatmani. In the 10 stanzas to meditation, towards the 253 or 54, that part of Vivek Chudamani, one of the verses says, Janma Bruddhi Parinati Apakshaya Vyadhi Nasana. These are 6 stages that belongs to the small I. Birth, Bruddhi is growing up, Parinati is peak age, Apakshaya is decay, and Vyadhi is disease and death. Nasana is death. Bihinam, the key word is Bihinam. I am beyond this. These 6 things don't affect me. Me means my true nature, my capital I. Janma, Bruddhi, Parinati, Apakshaya, Vyadhi, Nasana, Bihinam, Abhyayam, indestructible. Then I am the creator, Vishwa Srushti Abha Vighata Karanam. I am the creator, sustainer, and the dissolver, Srushti, Sthiti, and Pralaya. That Brahma Tattvamasi, that you are that. You are that Brahman, you are that sun, you are not the reflection in the bucket. Bhavaya Atmani, reflect on that. In 10 stanzas, Bhagavan reminds us that reflect on who you really are. Tattvamasi, you are that. You are not the reflection, you are not the bucket. We are stuck in the bucket to begin with. I am this body. We haven't even gone beyond that. Then you can go to, we recite Mano Buddhi Hankara Chittani Naham, the Nibbana Satakam. Nacha Srotra Jivhe, Nacha Grana Netre, Nacha Vyoma Bhumi, Na Tejo Na Vayu, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. The 6 stanzas of Nibbana Satakam, the 5 stanzas, first 5, talks about negation, what I am not. You know, where he talks about na punyam, na papam, na saukhyam, na dukkham, na mantro, na tirtham, na veda, na yajna, aham bhojanam, naiva bhojyam, na bhokta, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. You know, like a drum beat, Vedanta keeps, beating this against our ears to remind us, we are not this body, we are not this mind, we are not this intellect, we are not even this reflection, we are that Brahman, Tattvamasi. So if you think about the 6th chapter of Chandogya Upanishad, the teacher is the father Uddalaka, and the student, the disciple is the son Swetaketu. Again, Swetaketu goes for 12 years to Gurukula, comes back, and he's getting the teaching from his father. And in 9 times, the father says, Sayaye so anima, aitadatmamidang sarvam, tat satyam sa atma, tattvamasi Swetaketu. Hey Swetaketu, you are that sun, you are not the reflection. And this is the teaching that is given so many times through examples. You are that sun, not the reflection. This is the Mahavakya, the essence of our Vedanta teaching. We reflected on Aham Brahmasmi. Here we are talking about the Tattvamasi, that thou art. And every one of us really is infinity, confined to a finite body. And our nature is bliss and happiness, and there is no room for any sorrow. And this, because the real I has no birth, right? Name mrityu shanka, name jati veda, pita naiva me naiva mata na janma, na bandhur na mitram na gurur naiva sisyam, chidananda rupaha shivoham shivoham. I have no birth, I have no relations, I have no friends, no guru, none of the things that I have to do. Not, that doesn't say that those are all nothing, those are all wrong, they're all fine. That's what I have to live with in the transactional world. In the Vyavahara, I have to live with all that. But my true identity is beyond that. It has no birth, no death, no disease. So this, it's very interesting that in Vivek Chudamani, Adi Shankara, this is the book with 580 verses, an amazing, amazing book. And I don't think one lifetime is enough to even observe the teachings there. He talks about three kinds of people. There is a verse that says there are three kinds of people in the world. The first kind think, I am this body. Dehohamityeva jadasya buddhi, dehe cha jive vidisastvahandi, viveka vijnanavato mahatmana, brahmahamityeva mati sadatmani. Three kinds of people. The first kind says, I am this body, jadasya buddhi. These are the dull, the ignorant people. They think I am this body, category one. Dehecha jive vidusastva handi. Then somebody who is a little more knowledgeable, a little more exposed to the teaching, that I am this individual consciousness, I am this, this reflection, I am this Atma. But then he said the real Jnani knows that I am Brahman. Dehoha mityeva jadasya buddhi, dehecha jive vidusastva handihi, viveka vijnana vato mahatmana, brahmahamityeva mati sadatmani. Always they realize, I am this Brahman. I'm not this body, I'm not this reflection, I am this Brahman. So the seer is independent of the seen. We have, last time in the webinar I was talking about Ashtavakra Gita, Atma Sakshi Vibhu Purnaha Eka Mukta Siddhakriyaha. Atma is that Sakshi, that witness. So we talked about why we need this correction. We reflected a little bit on the process of doing it. Again, it's not going to be done through rituals, through upasana. Those are all good for Chitta Suddhi, but this is pure knowledge. We have to have that understanding. So finally, we'll end with the last few minutes saying, what's the benefit of doing all that? I guess that's pretty obvious. As we say in business, what's the ROI? What's the return on investment? Thank you for telling me all this. Unless you tell me the benefit, why should I be excited and do anything? Well, and I started by saying Atyantika Dukkha Nibruti Paramananda Prapti, a complete cessation of sorrow, and Parama Ananda, this is this 24/7 eternal happiness. And supreme bliss and happiness is what you are looking for. Ramana Maharshi in Upadesha has a line, verse, I think 28th verse of Upadeshara. He says, King Swarupami Tyatma Darsane Abhyaya Bhava Purna Chit Sukham. What happens to Atma Darsana? When you discover this capital I, the true I, when you go through the I correction and see the capital I, the true self, what happened? Abhyaya, Abhava, Apurna, Chit, Sukham. He's given all the elements. Abhyaya is indestructible, inexhaustible, indestructible. Abhava, unborn, uncreated. Apurna, complete, perfect. Chit, Sukham, nature of consciousness and bliss. That's what you get. That's the ROI. So on a practical level, I mean, if you just say, just knowing this actually makes us better in handling crisis situations. People ask, Those of us who have been students, the question always comes, so what's the benefit? Why have you been going listening to this and doing satsangs? And the only answer you can give is, look, if I was stressed this time, this much before, I'm stressed less now. That's all you can, you look at your own life and see what benefits it gives you. It gives you now enough to think about when difficult situations arise. Sometimes, it's always wonderful to see, Sri Ramakrishna had throat cancer. And reading his life, people say Ramakrishna Paramahansa, the smile was always there. You never see from his face that he's having so much pain, because he's the one who said, pain is compulsory, but suffering is optional. Pain comes to everyone. Now, how much you want to suffer is up to you. Bhagavan Raman Maharshi had leg cancer in the leg, and people, the Americans actually discovered and wanted to bring him here. He was, in that calm face with a smile. Now, such people could dissociate their body from their mind and could go through this. Now, even us, we can, at our limited scope, we can do little better than what we are doing without this knowledge. So these examples gives us hope that, few people, rare few are able to shift to the higher truth. Aham Brahmasmi did handle life so easily. So we talked about the meaning of the eye correction. We talked about the reason why we need it. We tried to look at the process of doing it through knowledge, and finally we talked about what's the benefit of such things. So hopefully, I mean, there's somebody says vision plus action should be our goal in life. What does that mean? If you have all vision, no action, then you end up with imagination. If you have all action, no vision, then it's disaster. Okay. We are very hard working, but we have no idea why, where we are going on this. So hopefully this was of some use. And on this Mother's Day, again, namaskar to all of you. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay, any questions, any comments? Let's see.
Just a comment from here, from Ranjan.
Yes.
It was very nice hearing you again one more time. I really enjoyed your previous webinar also, and even this webinar. And I'm really very happy that you live very close by, and I will definitely come to your satsangs also.
Okay. Okay,
Thank you.
Ranjan. Okay, Ranjan. Let's see. Anybody else? Now, how do I see questions? Let's see. Looks like everybody's is fine. No, I don't see any questions. Bivaji, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm also waiting that someone raises the hand.
Okay.
Ranjanji, Nanji, it was very good. It was
Oh, thank
excellent.
you. Thank you.
I really wonder so nicely you can recite the shlokas, and from different places you are given the examples and bringing together. And the main core teaching you have not left. It is really so beautiful. Really nice.
Should I stop the recording? Let's see.
maybe I'll have one more question here. So, even I remember about the Swami Chinmandi saying about the happiness is the number of desires fulfilled by the number of desires you have. And I think he also said that it's very difficult to make the denominator to be zero, because if it's zero, you'll be lifeless. You know. Is that true? That's what I remember. Like.
Well, yeah. It's. I think by that zero, desire should be there, but if you latch on to the desire for happiness, that's where the problem comes. I mean, you have a desire to visit Alaska, go to Alaska. But if you say, boy, I can't sleep because I have not been able to go to Alaska, that bothers me. That's where the problem comes.
Right.
So I think go ahead.
So you say that clinging to desire is disastrous.
Yeah. Well, Bhivaji can answer that better than me.
No.
Swamiji is busy in Washington area. He sent a note to me. We'll probably next time we hear him, we'll ask that question to him. We'll always get wonderful answers from him.
Yes, definitely. But you have explained really very well.
Okay.
And giving the example of sleep and the happiness what we get, and then the baking, and quoting from everywhere possible to make it the strong that yes, eye correction is needed and eye correction will make us permanently happy.
Right.
Like our evil eye correction makes us so happy. Then what to talk of this eye correction?
Yes. Okay. I think we can wrap it up.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay.
We'll
Thank
await
you
for
all.
next week sometimes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.